Hello YouTubers, Toby Till here, Rocky Mountain Snow MX, 720-263-7533 is the phone number. Today we are reinstalling the belt drive and getting the belt drive up to proper torque spec for a 2019 Yeti 129 SS. This procedure is very similar from 16 all the way through 21. So, couple of things that you should know. When you've got your belt drive apart, you never ever use brake clean. Brake clean will actually melt some of these pieces and cause these pieces to actually disintegrate. So will fuel, by the way. When you've got this off, simply just wipe it out to get it somewhat clean. If you are a clean, super clean kind of guy, always good to take the pressure washer to it, you know, garden hose, soapy water, all that you can do. Just no brake clean or gasoline or anything like that. You can see that with just a simple rag, everything in here wipes out really well, cleans up super easy. So don't think you got to get crazy with cleaning solutions and all that to get your belt drive housing clean. Literally all you got to do is just wipe it out with a clean rag. All right, so the first thing that we always do is we make sure that the washer goes back on. So there is a washer mounted behind the pulley, and that washer will go on first. When that washer goes on, now you can put your pulley on. We were doing some servicing of the lower part of this, so we had everything apart, so I wanted to show you belt drive installation. Lower pulley will go on like so. You see how I didn't put it on all the way, I just got it engaged? What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put my belt on with that lower pulley out so that it's a real easy install. When you have this stuff off, check this little bearing in here. This little bearing spins a lot. It also gives you the belt tensioning. When I took this belt off, I laid it on the bench. You never want to reinstall a belt backwards from what you put it on at. It will snap right away. So always make sure you lay your belt down and you know its orientation of the way that it came off. That's real critical. While you're in here, just a quick maintenance thing. Hold your chain. Rock this jack shaft back and forth, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to check this gear that your chain is on to see if that gear has started to wear. That's a wear item. If there's just a little bit of rock, it's okay. But if you can feel a lot, we need to get in here and replace that. It also is the first telltale that you may have a bearing starting to go out on the jack shaft. So while you got your belt off, just check those things really fast, and it might save you some downtime in the future. So cool little maintenance item there. What I do is I just wrap the belt around. Once I've got the belt around both pulleys, not all the way on either way, I can then put my idler wheel on. Make sure the belt is seated. The idler wheel has an offset bearing, so it's deep on one side, shallow on the other. The shallow side always goes in. You can install this pulley backwards and create yourself a problem. Once I've got the idler pulley on, I push the lower pulley and the belts both on. Once those are on, I now can torque both of my bolts that go through there. Blue Loctite on these guys. Pre-torque those. Our lock nut just is off. Excuse me while I try to find the lock nut. But he knows I'm human now. Alright, there's our lock nut. Alright, so we'll put our lock nut on. Start the threads with it. I like to run the lock nut down just a little bit and then back off, because that's what keeps a little bit of tension on the tensioner. Okay, so now we got everything kind of in place. We're going to bring our belt tensioner like so, and you can literally just push your belt tensioner over, screw this by hand before you get on it. Once you start tightening up, you want to make sure that your belt is seated in every single cog and right on the edge of the pulleys before you start to do things. Okay, now you kind of got the belt into place, but you do want to go ahead and torque the pulley bolts in. .61 Newton meters is the proper spec for these lowers. Here we go. And since you've got it out, I just check all of them while I'm here. Now that I've got everything tightened back up, I'm going to go ahead and achieve proper belt tension. Because through proper belt tension, I don't have to remove my holding tool, and I can go up and check the top too. Proper belt tension is set by the red gauge behind the belt. So you set the edge of the red gauge to the edge of the belt. You press on the belt until your fingertip turns white right at the fingernail. That's the proper amount of tension. When the belt does not move more than the red block, you have now achieved proper belt tension on a Yeti belt. Now I'll go ahead and tighten that up. I'm going to check my upper pulley belt tensions, and then also, upper belt drive pulley. And I'm also going to check the other side of the jack shaft, make sure that hasn't come off, because this kit's got 80 hours on it or so. It's time to just check things while I run it. Okay, now we're set there. We need to still tension up our center, the book specs 51 Newton meters on our idler wheel. So we now have proper belt tension, proper torques, and we are ready to go with reinstalling a belt. After we've reinstalled the belt, we can go ahead and put our cover on. No real tricks to the cover, but if it's not seating here, sometimes you got to give it just a little bit of tap. You want to make sure that your pins go in and then quarter turn and lay down in the correct notch. Some guys get those off when they get in here. There we go. That is reinstalling Yeti belt. Once again, Toby Till here, Rocky Mountain Snow MX. You can reach us at 720-263-7533. Don't forget to order all your C3 products through us: thermostats, handlebars, intakes. We stock it all, along with Recluse clutches, seat concept seats, Explorer lights from Cyclops. Pretty much everything that you need for your snow bike we carry, and would love to take care of you.